Welcome to Fergie's Football Focus, now exclusively live on Twitch. The link is in the description.
My Champions League predictions, right? The draw came out, I think it was over a week ago now, and I want to break down who I think will advance in each group. Starting off with Group A, we have Man City, PSG, Leipzig, and Club Brugge. And in my opinion, I believe PSG will finish first, and Manchester City will finish second in this group. This is a very difficult group, described by many as the group of death. I think we can all agree Brugge is probably a step down from the other three. A small step down, but nonetheless a step down. Leipzig are a team that I think, could have said last year could have competed with PSG and Man City, but of course now the likes of Nagelsmann has moved on. He's gone to Bayern Munich. So they're kind of in a transitional phase. A really good player there, Sabitzer, just left and joined Bayern as well. So for me, I think it's pretty clear that PSG and Man City are the lock in this group, and they will advance to the next round. In Group B, another group of death. We have Atletico, Liverpool, Porto, and Milan. And this one, I think, is the most difficult one to predict. For me, for the first position, I'm going to go with Atletico. I think, they're a really good team. They've added the likes of Antoine Griezmann back to their side, who I think will fit in phenomenally with them. So I had them going first. I think they're favorites in La Liga right now. Atletico, they do a very good job as well, managing other teams. Their defensive block is great under Simeone. The second position is a difficult one. While I don't want to say Liverpool, I think I am going to go with Liverpool for second. They've got great depth. They've got big Verge back. That makes a huge difference for them. AC Milan, I think they're the team that would compete for Liverpool for it. But if you look through their 11, I don't think it's as strong on paper. That said, could they pull up some big performances? I think they could. But if I had to choose a favorite, I would definitely probably go Liverpool. Porto, they're an interesting side, but I don't think quite at the level as the other three. AC Milan, they've got Giroud up top. I don't know how much problems they cause for that Liverpool defense now with Virgil back. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm going to go Atletico 1, Liverpool 2 in Group B. All right, moving on to Group C now. This is an interesting one. Shout out our guy Serenin. He's an Ajax fan. We have Sporting, Dortmund, Ajax, and Besiktas. And I'm going to go Dortmund 1. Of course, they still have Erling Haaland. They still got some really talented players. This Dortmund side, they haven't played that well in the past year. They underperformed a bit in the Bundesliga last season. They've had the opportunity at times to push Bayern Munich, and they've fallen far short of it. I'd say their defense too is quite meh. Like I don't feel that impressed by Dortmund's defense. For the second team, I am gonna go with Ajax. I debated going Sporting. Sporting have been playing really well. Sporting have been playing very well in the Portuguese league, but I think I am going to favorite to Ajax. If you look at the Ajax team, it's very well-rounded. It's not necessarily got any players that will blow you away, but considering the level in this group isn't, as high. If Ajax were in a different group, if they were in Group B or Group A, I don't think they would have advanced. But in this case, I believe Ajax will advance. I think they'll push Dortmund. I think this group will be very highly contested between Dortmund, Ajax, and Sporting. I could see any of those teams advancing, but I'm going to go Dortmund 1, Ajax 2, in Group C. Moving on to Group D now, we have Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Shakhtar, and Sheriff. And in my opinion, this is a pretty easy one to predict. I think trying to predict who will finish first and second is quite difficult. I'm going to go Real Madrid to finish first and Inter Milan to finish second. Of course, Inter Milan, the team that won the Serie A last season under Conte, have had a very good side. I'm impressed by what they've been able to do. Real Madrid, on the other hand, they've taken some notable steps back, not in the same way that Barcelona have, but nonetheless a few steps back. That said, neither team I don't think will really be tested by Shakhtar or Sheriff. So I'm going to go Real Madrid to finish first in Group D and Inter Milan to finish second. Moving on to Group E, another group that I think had the potential to be interesting, but Benfica, Dinamo Kiev, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. Don't know if Benfica and Dinamo Kiev could push Barca. I think this Barca team is quite poor. I don't think this Barca team is very good at all. Like, I'll be honest with you. Bayern is definitely going to finish first in this group. But can Benfica push Barcelona, or can Dinamo Kiev push Barcelona quite enough? I don't think so. I think Barcelona will finish second in this group. Yeah, I think in a lot of other groups, I would have picked Barcelona to actually have gone out. But for Group E, I think they've gotten the right draw for them to advance. So Bayern 1, Barcelona 2 in Group E. Moving on to Group F, we have Villarreal, Manchester United, Atalanta, and Young Boys. As a Manchester United fan, this is an interesting group. I'm pretty pleased with it. I think we've gotten a pretty tame group. Picking who will advance is difficult, right? Of course, we lost to Villarreal in the Europa League final last year. Don't remind me of it. But I think Manchester United, with the players we've added, Jadon Sancho, Ronaldo, Varane, I believe we will secure this group. I believe Manchester United will be the winners of Group F. Picking the second place team was difficult. I'm looking at some of the form. I think form is really important when you're picking Champions League. Looking at Atalanta's form, I've been impressed by it. Villarreal aside, that, you know, they've done all right in La Liga, but I'm going to go Atalanta second. I don't think Young Boys are really a team in the mix. So I'm going to go Manchester United to finish first, Atalanta to finish second in Group F. Let me say really quickly, this may be coming from the opinion of a United fan who's a little salty about that Europa League final last season. Cue the salt emojis for Serenin in the chat regardless. Group G now. Moving on to Group G. This was an interesting one. These are a lot of teams. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't watch frequently. But I'm gonna make a prediction nonetheless. I think Sevilla, they're a team that's always very competitive near the top of La Liga. I'm gonna have them finishing first. Let me read out the teams quickly. We have Sevilla, Salzburg, Wolfsburg, and of course Lille. And for me, I am going to go, I think Sevilla will finish first in this group. They're a team that always finish near the top of La Liga. Salzburg are an interesting side. The issue with Salzburg is it's hard to kind of weigh what level they're truly at, because obviously they dominate the Austrian Bundesliga, but that doesn't mean much with regards to how they will perform in the Champions League. I'm going to go Wolfsburg second. They've done pretty well in the past year. They have some talented players. Sandro has spoken very highly of them as well. He says, Wolfsburg is great, believe me. They have such a wide squad. From what the research I had done, which isn't very extensive, it's pretty minimal. That's what I've seen, though, as well. So I'm going to go Sevilla 1 and Wolfsburg 2 in Group G. Moving on to our final group, Group H, we have Chelsea, last year's champions. Ugh, I hate saying that. Juventus, Zenit, and Malmo. This group, I think, once again, is pretty easy to predict. I think Chelsea, you know, with the business they've done, they've conducted some phenomenal transfer business. Again, I don't like giving them credit, but I have to give credit where it's due. They've done very good in the transfer window, adding Big Rom to their side, Saul, Koundé as well. Bro, they've done really great. Chelsea, they've only strengthened, and they won the Champions League last year. So for me, they're favorites in Group H. I had them winning Group H. Juventus, I think they're kind of like Barcelona, a team that could have been tested this year, a team that is definitely kind of taking a step back. They're not a great team. I agree with you, Yusuf, but I think they're good enough, especially now with Allegri back, to finish second in this group and advance. So that's my prediction for Group H. Chelsea 1, Juventus 2. Pretty crazy. So those are my Champions League draw predictions. Running through it one more time. In Group A, PSG and Man City. Group B, Atletico and Liverpool. Group C, Dortmund and Ajax. Group D, Real Madrid and Inter Milan. Group E, Bayern Munich and Barcelona. Group F, United and Atalanta. Group G, Sevilla and Wolfsburg. And Group H, Chelsea and Juve. Hope you guys enjoyed those.